Yo, is the mic on, Mike? Into that mic on, Mike, and pour us another one. Let's do it right though, Mike. We feeling nice though, Mike. Gather round, gather round. Into that mic on, Mike. Into that mic on, Mike. Yeah, Garage Drinks with Mike. Woo!
I sort of noticed that. I remember when we all got back from COVID and all the camper vans were really cheap.
Yeah.
And then now that we can't travel anywhere, they've just like hiked all the prices up now.
Yeah. Welcome back to the garage.
Thanks,
You're my
Uso.
first second guest.
Thanks, Uso.
For all our lovely listeners listening out there, this is part 2 because the camera died on the first part 1. The camera died on the part 1.
I thought I saw the screen go off.
It's when I said thank you to you at the end.
Yes.
I looked over and I was like, oh the
damn.
red light's not going. And I realized, but hey man, like you live, you learn, you know, keep fixing all these little things. So good to have you back.
Thanks, Uso.
There's heaps of other stuff I really wanted to talk to you that we lost.
Also, man, I was just thinking about you've had some awesome guests on
Thank
as
you.
well. So, man, it was pretty cool being the first one. But
Yeah.
I gotta try and keep the level up high. 'Cause everyone's been so like amazing.
It's really opened my eyes, like to know the amount of talent around us,
Yes.
and especially around South Auckland. Like, I'll be really honest, some of the conversations I have with some of these people, like I'm struggling. 'Cause some of these people are very, very intelligent.
Yes. No, you're doing
I'll
good.
sit there and
You're
I'll
doing
just
good
try and like, but I guess my point of view is I've got to try and make it relatable to everyone else that's listening.
No doubt.
But a lot of the guests are like, and you are of course as well, at different levels, because there's levels to everything, and most of the people that come on here are pretty good at what they do.
Yes.
Um,
You're doing an awesome job also.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy just sitting down, you know, with people and having a chat with them. So thank you for coming along. This is a Sunday morning and you've got a lunch to go to.
Yes.
So I've got my eye on the time. I'll make sure that we don't go over time. So I'll kick straight into it. There's heaps of stuff that I wanted to talk to you about that we didn't get to touch on. That's really interesting. We talked about your childhood and growing up in Tokoroa, which I thought was fantastic. It's amazing. You've hinted to me though, your father migrated here.
Yes.
From Samoa.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk more about like his growing up in Samoa, because I think it's quite colourful. It's quite it's a lot of those stories are untouched. So talk me through this. So your dad, when he was younger, he was born and raised in Samoa, yeah?
Yes, born and raised in Samoa, and you know, I think when I think about our upbringing, when Dad was able to share some of his stories growing up, and I know a lot of our listeners can relate to this because we've there's quite a few of our parents that have grown up in the islands, but when you realise a lot of the things that they've grown up with, which is not much, and Dad was one of the younger siblings that went out to go and work for their family
As a kid. How old?
You know, I think Dad was out working like when he was 7 or 8, you know, so he was out there providing, helping provide for his family at a very young age.
Sure. How many siblings were in the family?
Dad's got, I don't know the exact number, but I think it's 8 or 9. So
wow.
They got a big family, and like most Pacific Island families have got good sized siblings, a good amount of siblings. But I just think about Dad's journey to where he got, which brought him to New Zealand, and just the opportunity that he had to come over here. And I think his dream was to bring all his family over as well, his siblings.
When you say that he was out working like at 7 or 8, what sort of jobs was he doing?
Oh, Dad was out working in the plantations. And
that's hard work. I've done that when growing up in Tonga. It's some hard work with a hoe and just digging.
And when you look at some of the places where they had to work, I know at the back of my dad's village, there's a cliff that just goes straight up, and he talks about how him and his sister would go up there to the top of the hill and look after the plantation. And when you look at them, I keep on thinking to myself, did they have like rock climbing gear to get up there? Because it just goes straight
Is
up.
that right?
Yeah, it just goes straight up.
Wow.
So, I mean, we had a beautiful experience of being able to take our family, our kids, and our nephews and nieces, and all our family over there for a family reunion a couple of years ago. And it's a very humbling experience. Just to understand, for our kids especially, they have got access to a lot of things that our parents, their grandparents, didn't grow up with as much. But
it's amazing, eh?
It's humbling.
Yeah, it's so humbling. So if he was out there working, at the age of like 7, 8, and was he always working on the plantation, or did he go back to school?
No, Dad. Dad didn't go back to school.
Yeah,
and he's a man that's worked his whole life for other people.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean he's always worked for his family. And even for us, when we were growing up in Tokoro, my dad, he worked at the mill as a shift worker, and for him to be able to do the things he did for us is for his kids growing up, we feel very privileged that we had both parents that were willing to work overtime and work the way they did for us.
I love that because I think often when you're probably that young, or you're working like a labor job, and you're stuck in something, not stuck, but you might feel you're stuck, but it must be hard to imagine something better, but I guess if you're always dreaming about it, and if you just do the small things right, just raise your family, but also that big move of migrating here, coming over here and starting a family, and just continuing to do the small things right. The journey in his lifetime, you see what I'm saying? It's such an amazing journey, from all the way from a plantation in Samoa to where he is today, surrounded by his children and grandchildren.
Yes.
And for that to give you the drive to do what you've done as well, must be such an amazing experience.
I think, and like today, we'll go and have lunch with over Mum and Dad's house, and I think these are one of the, I don't know if you call it like it's end point, or like that's the goal to life.
Yeah.
But I think that's when we see our parents on Sunday. I know my dad, he always cooks for us on Sundays. I know for us, that's him saying, this is not the end point in life, but this is what life is all about.
Yeah.
Being able to have Sunday
with your family.
Yeah. At his own house. I think I might have shared this story with you at the gym. My dad's got so many stories, and when you think about them, it's just like, how the heck did you make it this far, Dad? So sometimes when we used to eat at the table, my dad used to eat and he used to have his leg sitting like that when he'd eat. And I asked him one time, Dad, what? How come you sit like that? Why do you sit like that? And he was just saying that when he was young, working on one of the plantations for some people in Samoa, there was a man that he worked for, and he used to sit underneath the trees with his couple of other young boys that he worked with as well, and he would always eat at the table like that. And
the guy that was the boss.
The guy was the boss that owned the plantation, and he was hungry. Dad was hungry, but he always used to say to his friends, "One day I'm going to be eating at my own table like that." And he told me his friends were laughing at him, like, saying whatever. And and I think about how far my dad was able to make it to come over to New Zealand as an immigrant, do really well, and prosper the way he did, and the way he is. And have days like Sunday, how we have our Sundays together as family. It's inspirational when you hear little stories like that. So that's why he said like that.
That's amazing. To your dad.
Oh, love you, Dad.
That's such a cool story. And I love hearing stories like that, because it makes everything relatable, and it makes sense of like people's journey, and it makes sense as well of like if you're stuck in something and you don't feel like you can sort of go higher or anything, or if there's like a glass ceiling above you, that if you just keep doing the small things right, opportunities will happen. You just got to grab those opportunities when you get the chance,
no doubt,
and just run with them as much as you can.
Yes.
And really celebrate your dad, because that's amazing to me, you know.
And I know, talking to like a lot of our friends, like we've got parents that have been through the same thing as well. Also, when I look at our lives that we've been, and things we've been able to achieve, it's all started from like something in our minds of our parents that said, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do something, and I'm gonna start a legacy, and it might just be the small seed. Yes.
You know what I mean? And because it's hard enough just coming to New Zealand. Was he already married to your mum before they came, or did he meet her over here?
He met mum in New Zealand. He met her in Wellington, and you know, when Dad arrived here, he couldn't speak English as well, so. No, we've got an amazing mother who's always been very supportive. She's been like a rock and foundation of our family as well. So, you know, they're real pillars in our lives and examples for us. We're just lucky that we can get up each day and you know, just try and fulfill a lot of the legacy that they've put in place for our families. You know, so. We're very lucky. We will never go a day without being thankful for what they've done for us.
It really puts things into perspective, eh? Like, you know, sometimes when we go through our daily struggles and the problems that we have, and then sometimes if you think about like what our parents and stuff have gone through, you know, like really sort of puts our problems in perspective.
We talk about a heap still, you know, just that daily gratitude. Also, and there's some things that in life there will be things we will go through, some real trials and some real struggles, but finding the things that some of the smallest things in life that we can be thankful for, just a nice way to start your day, or just uplift you for what's ahead. So
I heard a really interesting story a couple of weeks ago from a well-known UFC fighter who's Francis Ngannou, I think, who's originally from Cameroon.
Yes.
And man, that was insane. That was going from working in like sand mines in Cameroon, deciding to just leave, save a little bit of money and just leave without telling anyone, and trying to trek across to France. He was originally, I think, trying to go to the UK to fight for money because he wanted to be a fighter. But the people in his village just laughed at him, so he left and he made the trek. And this story is just it's like you wouldn't believe it if someone else had told you, but hearing it come from him about crossing the Sahara and the whole struggle of trying to get from Morocco across to the coast of Spain, being stuck in Morocco for nearly a year, and living in the forest, and all these different challenges just really sort of open your mind to what it is for like migrants and people that leave countries because they believe there's something better for them, you know. And for him, like, no one in his village believed him that he could be a fighter. Just laugh at him. He's a big guy, like, he can fight, but because they're stuck in they're in that mindset of like, this is it, we're comfortable, this is what life has given us, we should settle, you know. But
I just think it's funny when you look at him, and if you didn't know the backstory, you just think he was brought up to do that. But when you explain the story like that, you see there's that passion and a drive that puts him. He's physically, you already got it because I've seen him. He's a
specimen. He's insane. But even him, like, he doesn't quite get some of the actual technical moves that he does, that he makes. But he knows how to take someone down.
Wow.
And he's to watch him is scary, you know. But to hear him is very humbling, because it's a very different person that is outside of the ring to what's inside the ring. It just switches and just goes, which is amazing, you know. And it really puts things in perspective about migration and our daily problems. So nothing in comparison to starvation and, you know, going through stuff like that. The other thing I really wanted to talk to you about, which I thought was really cool, is that a lot of people don't know, but you do a little bit of a bit of artwork. Is that right?
Yes. It was really funny. I think it was Friday afternoon as well. And so When I was at school, I loved art, and I've got really artistic mother, and I've got a few uncles on my mother's side that are really artistic as well. So it's probably in the blood, and it's something I really enjoy doing. But after when I finished school, I was doing a signwriting apprenticeship.
Right.
And so
so you were going to write signs.
Yeah, I was going to be doing signs, and that was something that I thought with the passion that I had for it, I was going to continue on in that sort of vein. But I went with my other passion, which was rugby. But yeah, I've always loved art, and I did art and graphics at school, and I wasn't the best, but and to say that I've been lucky enough to be able to illustrate some children's storybooks up at Starship, for me is something that I never thought I would be able to do. But I had a great time doing it. I did it while I was playing rugby. I did a couple of books when I finished as well.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it was something that just took me away from rugby, and I could put some time into that, which I think when you're doing rugby a lot, it's nice to have something to break away from as well.
Different headspace as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you still do a bit of art?
I've got heaps of books at home, like heaps of sketchbooks at home, and I know my girl loves, my daughter loves doing it as well. Just having a book where she can just scribble in. So, no, very lucky to be able to do that. It was we did it with Barfoot and Thompson to help raise some money for Starship. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
And you raised quite a bit of money with doing that for the kids.
Yes, well, we I don't know, we might have raised like 100 and something thousand. So
wow,
it was awesome to be a part of the project and be able to help support our young people and a lot of the families that go through there.
Starship Hospital is a fantastic hospital, and what they do for children and also the families as well is amazing, because they also transport families, I believe, from across New Zealand.
Yes.
And put them in the Ronald McDonald House. Yes. While their children are going through like whatever surgery or recovery needed.
They're fantastic. They're world class at what they do up there. And what goes even better with that, what goes in hand with that, is the people up there as well. Some scary times for our young people that go through there, and the people, the humanistic side to that, they do that really well as well. So
I guess as a parent, it's probably one of the worst places you could ever be. Like if anything happens to your child, the world kind of stops for you.
Yep.
You know, like your job, everything else dissipates around you. Nothing else is important anymore, because it becomes, I can't think of anything worse than your child's life being threatened.
And even when your kids are sick, there's nothing worse, You
feel helpless because you can't do anything.
Yeah. No, they're an awesome place up there, and we're lucky we're able to be able to access that in New Zealand. Yeah. I'll say New Zealand. It's up in Auckland, but like you said,
they work around.
They bring everyone up, from around New Zealand. So.
Yeah. You've got a lot of tattoos. Are any of them self-designed by you because you love your artwork?
No, I think when doing tattoos, I think I know what it is I want. Yeah. But I know being an artist as well, as everyone's got their different interpretations. So I think being able to give, this is probably my the way I see it is just that I probably feel more comfortable being able to say this is what I'd like to have.
All right.
And then
get someone else to sketch it.
Get them to put it together so that it's almost like, if I can try and think of something similar, as when I was playing rugby and we used to go overseas, our nutritionist would give these menus to chefs or people in the kitchen in the hotels that we were staying at. And if we were staying at a place that didn't usually make that sort of food, it doesn't taste the same or doesn't taste good because that's not what they make.
Ah, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does, yeah. People's interpretations are quite different.
And so it was always nicer when you, say if we were in Argentina and a nutritionist had set a plan through, and it was different to what they eat over there. You're better off eating the food that they make really well, you know?
Yeah, right.
And I think the same too with an artist as well, is just being able to say, we want, this is what I'm after. What do you think that looks like to you? And let them express themselves through own art or what they might want, what they might think it looks like for them.
Because every artist will be different as well. They have different interpretations.
Yes.
Are you thinking of getting any more tattoos?
Not as much as my father-in-law.
Oh, okay.
So for all our members at the gym there,
okay.
He's I don't know, what do you call it, a vato? He's just got so many tattoos.
Across him, has he?
Everywhere. Like,
I didn't know. Okay.
He's got a guy that he always goes to that lives down the road, and he's got this King of Tonga on there. He's got all his he's got Ty and Nisi. Got all the grandchildren. I'll have
to get him to show me sometime.
I know. You could actually do a podcast on the storyline of his all his tattoos.
Yeah, no, that's actually quite true. Yeah, because people have different stories for different tattoos and different journeys that they've gone through, and they want to mark it so they can remember what that process was, or someone that's really important to them, they get their name or their face on them.
I always think about it too. So like some people, when you get tattoos, and they think, what is that going to look like when you get old?
Yeah.
But I think they miss the point. Is these are you have moments in your life. And these are like, they represent like certain moments of your life, you know. So it's almost becomes a part of the story, and it doesn't matter what it looks like when you get old.
It's true,
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when some people, I've had a few people say that to me, like, what is that going to look like when you get old? I remember when I got my first tattoo on my back, and it's in the shape of a wing.
Yes.
But it's got Pacific Island theme through it as well. And I think I was 28.
Okay.
And when I went to go show my dad, he took off my shirt and I was showing my dad. He goes, "Oh, that looks nice." And then he said to me, "But you didn't ask me." And I was 28 years old.
You didn't ask me.
Yeah, so I was shocked to put my shirt back on. I was like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, Dad."
Oh wow! Even at 28, even at 28.
I know. But that's yeah.
Did you think about it for a while before you got your first one?
I just thought it'd be safer. I would be able to get it done if I got it done and then showed Dad after.
Yeah. Well, my first one on my back, I got it done when I was, I think, 20. But yeah, I'd spent like probably a good 4 years thinking about it, because I really wanted to make sure that I was sure when I got it. It was it's the Tongan coat of arms.
Yes.
But growing up in Tonga, like everyone gets it. Everyone gets it like on their shoulder or on their leg, or everyone gets it done.
Yes.
But I really wanted to be sure that it was something that I wanted done before I got it. And so when I got it done, I was quite happy with it. I got it done by Carl Cocker. Do you know Galia Tattoos? He
did my first tattoo too.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Amazing, yeah.
His lines, all of these are from him as well. His lines are so clear.
Yes.
And I'm so conscious of like every time I go out in the sun and stuff to sunscreen them just to keep looking after them.
Yes.
Because it makes them last longer, and he's done such incredible work with his lines and the clarity on them.
Yes. We and I think too, like it's like a lot of things as well, like with with internet and social media as well, like you're just so much, you're open to seeing so much more as well.
Yeah.
So we've got some amazing artists here in our homeland here in New Zealand, and so just whatever you're thinking, there's amazing people that can bring that to life.
That's so true, because they could just see it in such different eyes, and it's what they do every day. Have you ever thought about getting the Samoan bear, or have you ever been approached to do it, or was it never anything that sort of appealed to you? Or have you got it and I don't know?
No. I'm not privileged enough to have a Samoan bear.
Right.
But I've seen the journey with
so Frank's journey.
Yes, I've seen Frank's journey, my brother-in-law Frank's. And it's an amazing journey, an amazing thing to witness as well. And you appreciate the way it's done, the tradition that comes with it as well.
Is it only given to certain people, or certain people have to ask for it, or how does it work?
I've seen, and we've actually had a couple of new people come through the gym, and when you see them with it, they wear it with such pride.
Yeah.
But I think it's usually through your family.
Right.
Who is it that will represent that well and wear it with that pride as well for your family, for our culture as well. So I think it's always the selection processes of when I think about it personally is who will wear it with that pride, wear it with that love of your family and of your culture as well.
And it's never been something that you've wanted to get done? No, not really.
No, I've always thought about it, but I think it's trying to find when the timing's right.
Yeah. And it's quite a process, isn't it? And it doesn't just. It's not like it's just 1 hour, 2 hours. It goes across days, doesn't it? Where you eat certain foods, and is this right? And you have people that stay with you.
Yes, the process can go from a week to 2 weeks, and I remember hearing my uncle Bessa. He was one of the first ones I had seen get a bear done. He was asking a couple of the guys today, or how long does it take? And they were saying 7 to 10 days, and he was like, I got one done in 3 days.
Wow.
So it's obviously it's a long process. And
yeah, I saw a few documentaries on them, and it's real interesting. I don't know, tufunga, you call them the tufunga, the person that taps and does it. He does it just on site according to the body and designs it as he goes. I thought that was amazing.
Oh.
That's a lot of vision, and also because bodies are different. There's bigger bodies, there's smaller bodies, and as you're sitting there designing it and tapping out like this thing that's going to be permanent forever, you can't really get it wrong. But maybe they do make mistakes, but it doesn't look like they make any mistakes. But it's amazing, yeah. Yeah,
and I think about it too. Like, it's a responsibility to take on as well. So when I think about it personally, I don't just want to just jump in there and just get it on there without taking on that responsibility of wearing it as well. So, yeah.
When I think about it myself, I don't know if I could handle the pain.
Oh man, that's the other side. Actually, that's the other side to it as well.
Because it's non-stop. It's just this all the time, non-stop on your body for hours and hours. And I see them lying there, just trying to go into a different mental space in their mind because the pain just must be insane.
Yeah, it looks crazy. It looks insane. So,
you are in great shape for someone that's old. It's getting along in life, but you're still in very, very good shape. Something that we haven't talked about before that I was curious to know is, do you stick to your own sort of what's your sort of nutrition regime, or what do you eat, and what sort of training process do you have for yourself?
I think when I think about nutrition, I try and think about balance. I know I can't eat the same way I did when I was playing rugby because I suppose I can't carry the sort of size. I was always a smaller rugby player in the position that I played in, and so I always had to eat a little bit more to try and keep my weight up.
Right.
Good food, obviously.
Right.
But not always. I was always someone of balance, So I like to have a few sweets every now and then as well. But I just when I think about the nutrition now, it's just probably not eating as much and trying to eat better as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my wife's always been she's always been really good at making sure that I get that I eat the right food.
Yeah. Are there certain types of foods that you try and stay away from, or are there certain foods that you eat more of?
Ty's a really good cook.
Yeah.
So eating when she cooks the home cooked food is really good, But we're like everyone else. You know how easy it is when you have long days as well. So Uber Eats can be just I
know, too easy, isn't it?
Too easy.
It's too easy. But for our Pacific and our Polynesian and Maori community that are listening, what would you say or sort of recommend? What are good dietary ideas? You know what I mean? Just to sort of change up habits that they might be stuck in at the moment. What are good ideas to sort of start with?
I think it's just being willing to be open to when you go down. I think for us, one thing that we like to do as well is like me and Ty and our kids as well, we have a competition who can cook the cheapest meal. And what we mean by that is like we still find wholesome meals. So like still making sure we go down the fruit and veg aisle to see what's on special, and same thing when we go through the meats as well, finding what are good cuts, what are still at a good price. You know, some days there's different things on different things on special. So still being willing to learn how to cook, I think is really important for anyone, our people, for anyone that doesn't know how to cook, and just being open to go. Sometimes I know some people like to have a plan of this is what I'm going to have every day, but I think there's also a part to it which is like going down with an open mind, trying to find what's something that's going to fill up our family
and taste good.
Good.
Yeah,
it's always better when it's home cooked as well.
Yeah,
because get a better understanding of how to prepare it. And these are things you can pass down to other people as well. Yeah,
I think probably just as a general rule, it's a lot of the processed stuff. You know, if you're eating a lot of processed stuff, it's not going to go down too well in your system.
Yep.
But there's so many different ways to cook like meats and vegetables. For me personally, I try sometimes to sort of minimize the carb intake.
Yes.
I notice it, like if I eat a lot of carbs, like if I have chips, hot chips, or if I have like a lot of mashed potato or taro, I can see the difference in what that does to me. But I guess it's different for everyone, you know?
Yeah, and you're right too. It's just like you've got to be able to listen to your body, know what works for your body.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of us, we can tell it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
But then we have those cravings that we're just constantly, we keep fueling that.
Yeah.
But if you actually listen to your body, I know for me as well, like I sort of grew up eating rice all the time. But I know I can't have things like milk. I can't like drink too much milk because I get a little bit blocked up, you know.
Right.
Just understanding.
Yeah.
And I know I feel heaps better before I train when I'm drinking a lot more water.
Right.
And not the fizzy stuff, which I like to drink anyway.
Yeah.
But I know if I'm listening to my body, it's saying drink some more water, keep drinking water, you know.
Yeah.
They're the little things that your body's telling you, and you know it's telling you that, but you're not listening to it.
Yeah. Because the craving's too good. When I was growing up, I think I was miseducated on what good food was to eat when you're training, and like the information that I had like as a kid and as a teenager growing up was like you can train, and then when you eat, you got to eat carb heavy and meat heavy. And I never really had any information about vegetables, so that's what I would do. Like I would eat a whole lot of potatoes, steak, and my body was like not responding to the training because obviously like it's normally sort of 80% nutrition, 20% training. But it wasn't until I heard the right education about, you know, eating like meats and vegetables and stuff that I started to notice like a real difference. I think as well for a lot of our Pacific Island brothers and sisters, once they sort of make sort of just little changes in their dietary, especially, they start to notice like quite a change. But of course, I think it's cutting the habit is probably the hardest thing. You know, like if you're trying to like really clean up your eating and change your habits, it's that sort of first 3 weeks or so of like changing out the sugars and the processed foods and stuff before you can sort of really start to get some results. Having said all this, Keven, like I still don't like salads. I don't like salads. And having said all this, like for our anniversary, out of all the foods that we could have had for dinner, we had KFC, and it was amazing. It was amazing. We had KFC in Whakatane. And it was fresh. I haven't had KFC in ages. But I loved it. Like I enjoyed it because, like you said, it's all about balance. You know, like can't just be strict all the time, and you know.
I think too. It's you're definitely hitting on the head. I reckon it's. I think in order to change and have start creating some really good habits, like it's easier. The process is easier done when it's done gradually. Sometimes when you do a full flip like that, it becomes too hard. And then you end up falling off the edge. So I think when you're trying to like starting slow and making those habits sustainable, it's usually easier done gradually, rather than trying to flip it straight away. Working towards a day that you want to be at your best. If you stretch out and say, I just want to try and become healthier, and that's a lifelong process. I think that's going to be a more sustainable way of doing it, better mindset to have.
So well said. Yeah. Sometimes I see different gyms put on challenges where it's like about kind of like a bodybuilding challenge, and it's like a 6 week or 4 week real fast.
Yes.
To try and change what you look like from point A to point B.
Yes.
And it worries me sometimes when I see stuff like that, because I know that like if it's just like for photographic purposes,
yes,
then you and I both know that like in that sort of last week people are almost dehydrated.
Yes.
And like they're almost at their weakest, because kind of similar to bodybuilding competitions, you need to be dehydrated to look at your best.
Yes.
But then the bounce back, like after the challenge ends, you know, can be even worse. You can go further back than the first point where you started at. And that always worries me a little bit when I see stuff like that, because understanding that if you are going to do a challenge or something, the challenge should always be that you're starting to create little habits in whatever you want to change, and that they're consistent and sustainable, so they can be maintained. Because if they can't, like then it's so much more dangerous for your body to be put under such extreme conditions for like 4 to 6 weeks and then like go back again. You know, the bounce back is always so much harder than getting there in the first place.
Yeah, and and I've seen it in my lifetime as well. I've got my dad was a bodybuilder. I had uncles that did bodybuilding as well, and I love being able to see their journey all the way through to what the finished product looks like on the day, and they are people that come with a real determination to be able to get themselves into that sort of preparedness. That there's nowhere to hide on a stage.
There's nowhere to hide, yeah. Especially when you're in trunks.
Just like a G-string that looks like this, you know. So, I think it's an amazing process. And then when I think about our everyday people as well, which are people that are going on their challenges, I think it's really good to be able to try and put in a context that this is a good way to start me off. And whether it's a 20, 30 day challenge or a 6 month challenge, I think the way you should look at it is, this is going to get me started, and then I'm just going to hopefully try and kick on from there.
Carry on by myself.
Yeah, take little steps to just keep getting better or keep improving myself each day.
Yeah, I have so much respect for bodybuilders. I look at it and I just think to myself, I'm like, I don't think I could do that, because I see like it's so strict. Such a strict regime.
Yes.
I can never be that strict on myself with like because their dietary requirements are real specific. It's a lot of training involved in it as well, and I always think like I don't know if I want to subject myself to like going through like that sort of process, because it's very, very strict and they very, very clean. And I just don't know whether I have the time as well to do the amount of training that they do, because they're training like sometimes 2-3 sessions a day.
The discipline's on another level. I got so much, I think coming from one sporting background, and rugby's been my main sport, but you get exposed to being able to meet so many different athletes from different sporting arenas, and when you see and hear about their backgrounds to what they do to get themselves into peak performance, whether it looks like CrossFit or bodybuilding or sprinters, you have so much respect for what they do to get themselves. You understand the dedication, the sacrifice, and the time that goes into perfecting anything you do.
Self-discipline is probably the hardest thing.
Yes.
Like for anyone, for any human,
yes,
that's undergoing a sport or whatever you're doing, self-discipline is always the hardest, because you are accountable to yourself.
And people judging you on, what you see in the mirror could be different to what other people see in the mirror, so it's definitely, I hear you on that. I have so much respect for those people that are in that game as well.
That's why I think it's probably so important, your mental well-being and looking after yourself mentally comes so important with like it's that bridge between moving your body, and your wellness in mind as well. For me, like that bridge is real clear.
Yes.
Like if I'm not feeling too good about something, or if I'm having like sort of a down day, or I'm in a bit of a funk, if I go in and just work at the gym, even if it's just by myself, I always finish the day feeling better.
Yes.
And I know that works for me, but I do understand as well, there's a lot of people out there that don't understand it, or it might not work for them. So it's got to be what works for you.
That's right.
But for those athletes that go through that intense self-discipline, it really is something to be applauded, I reckon.
Oh, totally agree.
Yeah.
I like that space as well. I feel comfortable in that space as well. But sometimes when I've got a busy head, it's nice for me to be able to, like you were saying, get out and do something.
Yeah.
We have, you have so many thoughts in a day, and I feel like when I'm in there training, that it's just a chance for me just to let everything go and just be. Sometimes just about being present, being in the moment.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's in the gym, or it could be doing something at home with the family. I think when I'm able to be a bit more present in that moment, I know that's when you're not having to worry about something that happened before, or something that might happen later on. Being present, being in the moment.
It's so important. Yeah, I'm talking about like special gifted athletes. The news of Dan Carter retiring is fantastic. It's great and good on him. But honestly, probably the best in my eyes, first 5 probably rugby has ever seen, and I just thought it's amazing that the journey that he's come through. I don't know him, right? But from an outside perspective, like the injuries and stuff that plagued him, like through his career, and the ups and downs of like trying to stay mentally positive that he can come back, and be the best. I can't even comprehend. You would have played with him. Obviously, a special person that's leaving the game. What are your thoughts on Mr. Carter?
The GOAT, I just keep on. I always think about, we've got like so many special players that have been able to wear the black jersey, and when I think about his journey as well, I definitely can adhere to what you're saying with his determination to come back from some horrific injuries and come back and still be playing at that level. That's hard work in itself. It
says something about his mental capacity, That groin injury at the World Cup, that was, when that happened, the whole country was... I think it hit the whole country in the nuts as well. When that happened, like, everyone felt for him, because we all remembered his, world media focused on him at the disappointment of the World Cup that that was lost. And when he came back and he had the chance to like do it again in front of his own country, and he got injured before he had the opportunity to win that, the whole country felt that. But his mental capacity to like go away and recover, like that's not an easy thing to do. You feel you're like not included. You feel like there's always people that are coming through to take your position. There's all that pressure, and there's almost, you feel like you're probably incapacitated. You can't train like you normally train. You can't perform the way you normally perform. But you're telling yourself, I'm still here. I'm going to come back. Was he always like that when you were in a team with him?
He was... I think his mental fortitude, he showed, for me, he showed that when he was able to come back from those injuries that we're talking about right now and still perform at a high level. When I think about him as a player, like he had an amazing skill set and a real general in his position. Like it's amazing when someone can see the field the way other people don't. But then to have the skill set to execute some of the things he did on the field. He's a GOAT.
Very special.
And what I think as well is when I was thinking about all these amazing players like Dan and Richie and Ma that's not playing here in New Zealand, but we've got all these amazing players that are still playing overseas as well, and guys like Jerome Kano as well. They are really amazing people, they're really down to earth people.
Right, off the field. Right.
So, it's just, I always think it's amazing that we've got these amazing people, and they're so humble, they wouldn't boast or wouldn't have to tell of the special things I've done. Fee's one of them as well,
Yes,
but and we're happy to tell the stories about them. But they're just the real. For me, that's why they stand out. Why they're amazing, such amazing people and players.
It's a very special era. If I'm being completely honest, that era is, and you're part of that era. It's an era of legends, and just from an outsider's perspective or point of view, probably one of the best, if not the best time the All Blacks had. And I say that with all humility to the current All Blacks as well, because I understand, and I know you're not going to say we were the best, because you'd never say that. But I just feel personally that it was a very special era. The All Blacks themselves are an amazing team, and the ethos and the culture that they have at the moment, and they've had it for a while, but it's such a special culture. It makes them, if not probably the best team in the world, I believe. They have such a high winning percentage. It's in the high 80s. Am I right?
Yes. And you see the team today. They are a team. They just keep taking it to another level. So I think that's the amazing part of the legacy, which we have these amazing people that keep coming through and keep that legacy going. Winning teams
are best when they lose. It's because it's when they, like I say lose, but I mean when they lose, they learn.
Yes.
And they come back.
Yep.
They come back. A lot of teams, if not just teams, individuals, when they take blows, it's harder for them to come back.
Yes.
But I always feel like the All Blacks are the team for the rest of the world to look at, because, and even when they're winning, they just keep getting better. They keep lifting the bar all the time, expecting more of themselves, demanding more of themselves. And when you demand more of yourself, you demand more of, naturally, you demand more of everyone around you as well. And that sort of culture, that humility as well, I've always respected that. It's quite special. It's quite a special thing to, and very proud, makes me very proud to be a Kiwi, to have such a team like that represents New Zealand.
I totally agree. And when I think about it too, it's when we talk about humility, because I know people see it in different lights. As I understand it, my understanding of it is you don't underestimate your value and what you bring, but you understand it's a privilege to be able to do what you do, what we get to do. So man, Fee's story really blew me away. She is amazing. She's amazing. Cheers, Fee.
Cheers, Fee. She's amazing. The thing that amazes me the most probably is how humble she is, right? These are things that she would never, I know that she would never tell anyone, but like just sitting down with her and having the chance to sort of draw out, her stories and her journey and stuff. Beautiful person, amazing journey. And I'm very privileged to know her, and it's also great that she's part of the South Auckland police community as well. Because, man, I hope South Auckland feels safe with Fee. I would not want to be chased by Fee, man.
Oh, my goodness. Me and Ty were talking about her determination. Yeah. Because we know she had a little op done on her knee. Yeah. And I could see her, you can see that it's hurting. But a determination to keep pushing through, Yeah.
Oh, she gets caught up, I think, and especially if there's a class going, she gets caught up into the competition but training with her is inspirational alone, because she's just someone that just won't give up. She just won't give up. She'll push and push and push. And it makes me want to push and push and push, and that's the sort of culture of a natural born leader that can inspire that sort of stuff around the environment.
No doubt.
And people push themselves because they can see you push yourself, So, I think in South Auckland, we're very privileged to have all these different types of people that are very, very good at what they do and have that sort of humility about themselves as well.
Yes.
Because they create an atmosphere around them that try to push a community to be better. Fit 60 as the gym itself, is such a great concept as well, and what it does for the community is quite important, I believe. The gym has been running for about 6 years now, yeah?
Yes.
Is there bigger plans? Do you have any bigger plans of wanting to expand it, or you're happy with it at the moment?
I think for us, we always...
Let's build a bathroom.
Let's build a bathroom.
Let's build some showers.
Yes. So I think for us it's looking at the small things, and when you think of the year that we've come out of a year of COVID, where for a long some good blocks of the year we weren't able to do some of the things that we would love to do down at the gym. But so I think as we're coming through a year of COVID, and there's still there's still some uncertain times ahead. I think we want to keep growing and want to keep getting better every day. But sustainability is a big part of it. Being able to make sure we can still be here and around for a long time.
Yeah.
And part of that for us as well is understanding that we will always try our best to serve our people at the gym. So
we're getting good at these lockdowns, though.
Oh yeah,
going into a lockdown announced at 4:30.
Yes.
4:30 p.m. announced that we're in lockdown. Within a few hours, we announced that our sessions are back on Zoom. That's pretty good. Like, we're getting used to this.
Yes. And we have to do that. Like
roll with the punches.
Yes. We have to roll. We have to be agile like that. We have to be able to move quickly in these times like that, because it's a part of making sure that keep our community together.
Yeah.
And I always use the word community because it's that's the way it feels like in the gym. It feels like a whole lot of people that
come together.
They help.
And they all have different backgrounds, different jobs, different families. They just turn up, and when they turn up, it's like a group of friends meeting, and they turn up, sweat together, and then leave. But their cup has been filled in a mental way and also a physical way as well. They've come to get what they wanted, and then they're back out, and they go back to their families, go back to their jobs, carry on with their lives. But it helps them to be part of just one thing, even if just one thing that you're part of in your life. It's Fit 60 gives such a great community that way, I think. Yes,
and and you're a big part of that too. Also, like we are really lucky to be surrounded by some really amazing people, and so they are part of being able to put some good support structures around our people, so that we can help, so that they can get the best out of what they can get from them from our community.
You and Ty do such a great job running the gym. I also was thinking about this. I think about this quite a bit actually. Having Coach Helper, having Junior, such a gold find.
Yes.
The heart on that guy.
Yes.
He's got such a good heart.
Yes.
How did you originally? I know Junior from. We used to work at a warehouse together, like lifting aluminium in Mount Wellington.
Yes.
And I had just left the warehouse, and he came to join. At that warehouse, there were hardly any Palangis. Yes. Like literally, the whole warehouse is just like Islanders and Maori, because that's what we do is lift. And it was like minimum wage. It was a hard job. So I kind of knew Junior from the boys that worked there. How did you get in touch with him? Or how did you originally bring him on board?
Well, I think a lot of the people, a lot of our coaches that are through with us at the gym, they're actually people that have been through the gym.
Right.
And why I think that's important is because you understand why we're put together and how we're put together as well. And what I think Coach Helper brings is he just brings through purpose of when what we're doing. Like, he's someone that he'll always lead from the front, And when I say that, we're not just talking about the way he's super fit anyway,
Yeah.
That's a part of it.
Yeah.
But the way he'll always lead through just picking up people along the way.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
That's amazing. That if anyone's away or anything, he just steps in and takes a class. Like, he never hesitates. Very valuable. But then not just him as well, but like your other core center of coaches around, some of them bring such real specialized skills to it as well.
Yep.
That you've got such a cool team that run it.
Yes.
And such a great team as well. It's quite a positive vibe amongst the coaches as well, to always just do the best for the people and keep the people as the forefront focus all the time.
I think part of putting that team together, you try and put together it's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. That we get all the they bring in some
different elements. Everyone's got different energies that they bring as well. Different ways they'll write sets or create their own sets.
Yes.
Different music.
Yes, different music, different sets. But understanding what are we trying to get out of this workout for our people? What is it that we're trying to get them better at? So they walk out the door. It's more than just workout. So understanding that we put the set together because we're trying to work on this. We're trying to get you better at this, and you're walking out the door better. Part of it sometimes means we're going to have to we're gonna have to work really hard, and the effort's always there. But just bring some real purpose into what it is we're trying to drive for our people. And when I think when you're talking about Coach Halper, he's one of those guys that he's a coach at the gym, but he'll be out pulling the weeds out of the driveway. He'll be doing all the small things that we don't have to ask him to do.
Oh, so true. I've been in the gym training in the corner.
Yes.
He'll come in, pick up the vacuum cleaner, start vacuuming. I've seen him come in early in the morning before a Saturday class, clean the toilet.
Yes.
Before, you know what I mean? Like, and you can't buy that.
Yes.
You can't find. It's hard to find people like that.
A service,
Oh, just the humility of like understanding, like, well, the truth is, like, if you can't be humble enough to follow, how are you gonna lead?
Yes.
And Coach Harper is a great example of something like that. So I think very privileged to have someone like that, and also has knowledge of what he does as well with how he moves people's bodies and the technicalities is beyond me, Kevin. Like, there's levels to this, and sometimes I'm just always amazed at how he writes things and stuff. And so he's also someone as well I go to sometimes for technical advice on how to write some classes or how to move a certain body type. But yeah, I really appreciate having him around, and I think he's such a great add to the team.
Don't we love it when he he demos like a burpee tuck jump, and everyone's looking at each other going, I don't think I can jump that high. Looks like there's Michael Jordan there, and we're like people are in the air for like counting like 3, 2, 1, and he's still in the air.
If I can find it like on a clip or something, I'm gonna add it to this.
Can you please add that?
I've been in those classes. He's demoed some of those amazing burpees. But hey, it's great, man. It's great because it's such a good vibe to the people,
No doubt.
He's so well respected amongst the Fit 60 community.
Yes.
During this last crazy year with COVID and everything, how has your work on the Papakura Council changed? Does it just change into like more Zoom meetings, or does it have different focuses of what you need to do because of the pandemic being around?
There's been quite a few Zoom sessions, and I know it's probably something everyone's learned to have to adapt to. Like sitting in front of a screen and having to. I think one of the hardest things is being able to stay present because when there's a lot of people talking on there, it's different. Like I'm so much used to being able to do that in person,
right? And
it just has a different feel when you're talking to a screen. It's hard to stay engaged for the whole time. But when I think about what we've been through this year, last year through COVID, and a little bit this year, on the Papakura local board, it's just being able to make sure we keep our community services, make sure we've got the support for them as well. There's so many services that we have within Papakura that look after our people, and especially our ones that are at risk and that are in need of help. We were just trying to make sure that we keep supporting our services, that they can keep providing to all our people that need that help as well. So,
does the council also look after like the Papakura small businesses through Takaruni Papakura as well?
Yes, we're right behind the Papakura Business Association, and we've got some good people working on there as well. So. It's been really tough for small businesses.
That's what I was kind of getting to. Yeah, what was the sort of effect on some of the Papakura businesses over this last 2020 through to 2021?
I think for some businesses, when you can't be open, like some businesses are great and they were able to work through. Like for us, we went online and that we were able to be agile with that. But when you think about some of the businesses that need to be open and that need to shift, whether that's product or if that's food and you can't do that without having your doors open, that became a real problem.
It's rough, yeah. Especially the restaurants, I guess. Some of the restaurants and some of the cafes where they can't have people come inside.
Yeah, and so I think that's one of the things that when I think about one of the groups that I'm looking to do some work with called Digital Boost, trying to get small business to really lift what they do online with all the digital tools that they have. If you're able to access those, then you're able to stay a little bit more agile in times of COVID through lockdowns and not being able to work the same way we did before. So I think there's a real drive for businesses to be a bit more digitally savvy, and we have to keep moving like that.
Massive advantage for Bun, who was already, quite active online and stuff, and for Satay Noodle House to. He says he loves level 3 because he doesn't have to have people actually come in and worry about cleaning dishes or customers inside. The orders just come online and he just stacks them at the front door. They just pick them up. And all he has to worry about is just his staff, and they just get through their orders. And I was like, that's amazing. But his Satay Noodle House is in such high demand.
Oh man. And yes, even when we're talking about like the different purpose and what people bring, it's when you go there, it's like an experience, so it's more than just the food,
Oh,
food's great.
Yeah, the food's great.
But he'll come around and talk to you.
What he brings to that business is, again, invaluable. His personality, man, he's such a cool dude.
Yes.
Like he always cracks me up because he just says what he thinks.
And his energy is amazing. He's a great person to be around because he's always brings good energy to people. So, he's an amazing man to be around.
Yeah, I loved having him on the podcast.
Yes,
because he's such a free speaker, just a free thinker. There's no filter.
Yes.
He just goes, and I love it because but everything that he talks about though comes from such a good place.
Yep.
Like you may think that if anybody follows Bun on social media, you may think that might be a front or something to get his business going. It really isn't.
No,
that's literally that is the guy.
Yes.
That is the guy, and he's always trying to better himself or like think of ways to better the community. Yes. Do you know that he recently did a thing where he did like a shout out to the community to like people donate money and he would supply the food to. And then he got so much donations come in. I think it was like 6,000.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
He said that he would have to close for a few hours just to cook all the food to give out. And I was like, man, see, when you're thinking about like innovating and about doing stuff online, like that is a leader right there, that really knows his customer base and really knows like how to bring together a community. Because, of course, people at home are thinking like, oh, I'd like to give something, but I don't know how to give, or I don't know how to help without knowing that my money's going to the right place. But someone like him, man, is just, he's great asset for the Papakura community.
Oh, smart, special person, eh?
Yeah. He recently bought a house.
Yes.
Yeah. Cheers, Bun.
Cheers, Bun. Still waiting for our invite.
It's been really great having you, Keven, and I'm aware of our time. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, I just want to say keep up the awesome work. Also, thanks for giving us an opportunity to share our stories and for our people to also hear from some people. There's some of them that we know, and to get a little bit more in depth of their stories is quite inspirational. But for some of the other guests that we haven't met before, that have inspirational stories, and for you to be able to draw that out of people is very special. So just keep up the awesome work.
Thank you. I will do. There is one more thing I just remembered. There's a question that someone asked me that I had never even thought about. Someone asked me, next time you talk to Keven, can you ask him the spelling of your name, Keven? Is that simply from pronunciation, or where does that come from?
I think I was named after someone.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
And I think that's why the spelling is like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Do you know who that person is?
I think I've met him once in Wellington.
Okay.
Yep. It's a good friend of the family.
Okay.
So, yes.
Keven Mealamu, always great to have you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers, also. Malo.
Malo.
It's in that mic called Mike. It's in that mic called Mike. Yeah. Garage Drinks with Mike.